And I was like, y'all, I literally told God he was tripping. Hey YouTube, it's your girl Sharonda Patrice, and I am back with another video. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. On today's video, I'm sure you clicked on it to find out how in the world could I have tried to disobey God. What did he tell me to do? All that stuff. So I'm here for it, okay? So with the story, I'm not going to disclose like any organization information or any amounts of money or anything like that. I'm just going to tell the story, and you guys should get what I'm trying to say. You should get the gist of the story. So, there was an organization a while ago that was doing this fundraising event, and they were doing the fundraising event to do some renovations inside of the organization, right? And I volunteered to do like the behind the scenes work, you know, helping set up, talking to the people that come out, yada yada yada. And basically, long story short with that is that they didn't make the amount of money that they thought they were going to make. So they were talking about doing another fundraiser and stuff like that, right? And so on my drive home, I was thinking about how they didn't make, you know, the amount of money that they wanted to make, and I felt led to donate. And so I was like, oh, I'll go to the bank and I will get out a X amount of dollars to donate. And I don't know about you. I don't know how God speaks to you, but God speaks to me mainly through my dreams, but he also speaks to me when I'm driving. It's something about driving, the quietness, you know, especially if you know where you're going. If you're going from point A to point B and you do it all the time, it's like you don't really have to like focus on the drive. You can kind of just like get your thoughts out and stuff like that as you drive. And so that's kind of what I do. And so that's how God speaks to me through my dreams and when I'm driving. And so as I'm driving, I'm like, I'm going to give X amount of dollars. I'm going to go to the bank today and get a money order and give it to him, da da da, right? And so God was like, no, this amount of money. And I was like, y'all, I literally told God he was tripping. I was like, you're tripping. And I left it at that. And it wasn't like, I didn't like think it was like, oh, a voice in my head or me talking to me. Like, you know how you think sometimes it's just your imagination or you're talking to yourself or whatever. I knew it was God, and I told him he was tripping. So that was that day. And then a couple days later, I was like, oh, I forgot to go to the bank. Let me go to the bank and get that money order for this amount of money so that I can give it to the organization. And God was like, no, this amount of money. And I was like, seriously? You really want me to get this amount of money? And he said yes. And so at this point, I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So let me just paint the picture for you. It is May, and it was May at the time, and our wedding was supposed to be in August. So clearly I'm still trying to pay for stuff. We're trying to get stuff together for our house and all that stuff like that. And I'm just like, this is crazy. So let me just call, at the time, my husband, call Michael and tell him, I mean, at the time he wasn't my husband, he was my boyfriend or fiance. And I was like, well, let me just call him and just and see what he thinks. And so I called him and I was like, I need to talk to you about something. And he was like, well, what's that? And I was like, I feel like God is telling me to give X amount of dollars to this organization. And he was like, well, do it. Like, if God told you to do it, then do it. Like, I'm not going to stop you from something that God told you to do. So, for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I need confirmation. And I'm not just going to do something just because I heard it one time. I need confirmation. I need to make sure that I'm doing it according to what God is telling me to do, right? And so to me, that was my confirmation, because I mean, out of all the stuff that we had going on, and he was like, do it. I was very surprised that he was like, yeah, do it. So, anyway, I went and got the money order and I gave it to the organization, and that was that, right? So, and I felt a relief after giving it, because I did kind of feel like tense when he told me the first time. I felt like tense from that moment until I gave the amount that he told me to give, right? And so, the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I have been seeing, like, it's been popping up on like YouTube, and people have been just having messages about it and all kinds of stuff about obedience is better than sacrifice, right? And so, when I see stuff like pop up like that all the time, I feel like that's God like leading me to like read the scripture and kind of study it out and stuff like that. And so, that's what I was doing, and I just didn't get it, because to me, obedience is sacrifice, right? So how is obedience better than sacrifice when I feel like it's one and the same? Like, it is a sacrifice to be obedient. So, I did. Like I said, I studied it and I just couldn't figure it out. And so I called my dad. And if you know my dad, you know my dad is a teacher in the ministry. And so, he um, he that's what he does. He digs deeper than I do. So I knew that I could get what I needed from him. So I called my dad and I was like, I don't get it. Obedience is better than sacrifice, but obedience is sacrifice. So how can it be better than sacrifice? And so he started giving me all these examples in the Bible, and I was like, nope, don't get it. Still sounds the same. Don't get it. I don't get it. And so then he came to this one example with Jericho. And so with Jericho, the walls were up. God told them to march around 7 times, and the walls will fall down. And so, my dad was like, suppose they said, I'm tired, I'm only going to march around 6 times. That's enough. We did what we were supposed to do. But in reality, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, because God said 7 times. And now because you only did 6, the walls aren't going to fall down. And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like that really made sense. And so, just a second, you guys. Okay. So I wanted to put him down so I could finish the rest of this little thing. But I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you're being obedient by doing what God says. So not just because you're sacrificing, but because you're sacrificing, but because you're doing the will of God and not your will. I guess that makes sense. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. That all brought it together. And so then I started thinking about this example of when God told me to give a certain amount of money that I didn't want to give. So, anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So I remember now. So I was talking about how it made me think about the time that God told me to give money that I didn't want to give. And I was just thinking about like how we have to do the will of God, because at the end of the day, what his will is the right way to go, right? And so even though we may not understand it, we still have to be obedient. And we don't know sometimes, like with the example with Jericho, they knew God said march around 7 times and the walls will fall down, right? But sometimes we don't know. So like, I have no idea why God told me to give that amount of money towards, towards the organization. But right after that, so that was in May. We were supposed to get married in August, but we got COVID. What if because I didn't give that money, one of us died or something like that? You know what I mean? We died from the COVID. We got COVID and it was bad and we died. Or also, we knew that we wanted to have kids right after getting married. So what if God said, I'm going to make you barren, like you can't have kids? Like what if, I don't know, I don't know, and I don't want to find out what happens when I disobey God. But I just feel like we just need to be conscious of being obedient to God, whether we know what the outcome is going to be or not. So yeah, so that's what I want to talk to you guys today about. I hope you enjoyed this little talk, story time, transparent Tuesday, yada yada yada. I hope this is going up on a Tuesday, but it may not. I don't know, but it's still gonna be transparent Tuesday. So, yeah, that's it. So if you enjoyed this video and you would like more videos like this, please leave a comment down below, like this video, share it to a friend, share to 3 friends, girl, share to 3 friends, and make sure you subscribe to the family, and I will see you in the next video.